Alright, Assalamualaikum dan selamat berjumpa kembali di rancangan podcast Langgar. Ini bukan MPL Talk tapi podcast Langgar di episod yang ke-45. So, specialnya untuk podcast ini selalulah Rain bersama saya ada Rain kan, for the first time dia akan orang kata apa sentiasa menemani saya. Selalunya Rain
bergerak berdua ni.
Bergerak berdua. Kan, sebab kita tidak ada yang bertiga. Bertiganya di Indonesia hari ini tak dapat. Sebab it was orang kata apa, kita last minute punya arrangement. Okay. Tapi selalunya during the season kita elakkan buat podcast Langgar.
Apa tu?
Sebab kita akan fokus dekat recap yang nama dulu. Sekarang ni dah jadi MPL Talk. Tapi kali ni special.
Special lah.
Kenapa saya buat juga podcast Langgar? Sebab saya diberitahu oleh salah seorang owner ni, dia berada dekat Malaysia sehingga hari Rabu.
Orang luar lah ni?
Orang luar. Orang luar, tim luar yang bermain di MPL MY. Jadi saya rasa kena ambil kesempatan ini dan dia pun offer kan, do you want to do a podcast with me? Sure bro. Let's welcome Mark, the team owner of Flash.
Thanks.
How are you, boss?
All good.
Okay.
Still smiling.
Still smiling.
Still smiling.
But all good.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, so let's adjust your mic.
No problem. Let me know what's good.
Tolong jap.
A little bit
Adjustkan
nearer.
mic sikit, naikkan sikit.
Higher up.
Ya, sorry.
No
Ni patutnya dah adjust tadi kan. Lepas tu saya baru nampak. Bagi adjust sikit supaya dia tak naikkan sikit. Alright.
Boleh? Mic check
Okay,
boleh?
just a little bit closer to your mouth. Baru dia akan sedap.
Okay.
Automatic your punya voice dah akan jadi macam one of the best singer in the world.
Best singer.
Kalau dah jauh kan dia jadi macam Popeye nanti.
British Got Talent.
Yes,
Malaysia
British Got Talent. Somehow saya kena cakap juga kepada korang semua, Mark juga adalah salah seorang penyokong Liverpool.
Alright man, you never walk alone.
But we are with MU fans sebelah kita, tapi kita abaikan.
Okay.
Kita abaikan. Okay. And Mark also can speak Malay.
Little bit. Bahasa, so I will campur a little bit.
You will campur a bit because kita punya viewer kebanyakannya, most of them are Malays here.
Of course.
So I'll try talk to Malay. If you don't understand, you ask me again.
Okay. I
Sure.
try.
Let's talk about yourself. Introduce about yourself.
Hi guys, really great to have the opportunity to be here in this podcast. So my name is Mark Chiu, the CEO of Team Flash. So we have been in the esports scene for, I think with the team has been around since 2017.
Okay.
But a little bit about myself is, I'm from Singapore, of course. But my main other jobs is including mostly in the sports industry.
Okay.
So I do buy and sell sports content to the regional broadcasters as well in the region, including in Malaysia to Astro, to RTM, to Media Prima. And also we have some properties like football. So some football properties that we do is in Malaysia is Carabao Cup, League Championship, the broadcast rights. We have upcoming in August is pre-season friendlies. I can't share too much.
Okay.
You'll know a little bit more later. And then we have also the Formula One rights in Vietnam and also in Taiwan.
Okay.
Right. So that's what I do usually. But I think to wrap it up is also we came into the esports space in around 2017-18. So I set up my own company in 2017 as well. Not Flash, but a company called Redentes. And I never thought about esports. Never. It was the last thing on my mind, right? To be frank. But I was invited to go to watch MSC 2018 in Jakarta. Okay. And then after that, it was my first event. I think if a lot of Malaysian fans know, I think there was a channel called EGG. But
correct.
Right. So I think the head of EGG then, Edward, asked me, hey, let's come Mark, go to Jakarta to watch esports to help me to distribute the channel. So I went to Jakarta.
Okay.
Don't know what's MLBB. I only used to play a bit of CS, a bit of Warcraft. Never heard about MLBB. So I pergi tengok. So I sat down there. I went there. I saw 3,000 fans behind me. At that time, at not Istora, I think it was a nice arena. And I looked behind me. If 3,000 fans or 4,000 fans screaming, right? And then I have to think about it. This is the next generation. So to me, sports also will change.
Okay.
Right. And then after that, if you see now a lot of different media also tukar. Now mostly the young generation, last time our time is CD.
Correct.
Right. Last time is MD. But now everybody's on Spotify.
Correct.
Right? You watch movies also now. Lesser people are going to watch cinemas. Everybody's on Netflix. Everybody's on Amazon Prime, on Disney Plus. So sports will also change because now everything is digital. So from then, I saw so esports is up and coming. So I went back. I talked to my business partner. Let's go to esports lah.
Okay.
Let's try. So I always joke I always kena con in a way, inverted commas by Edward to come into esports. But the journey has been fulfilling. So I think 2018, we launched also our own esports competition called Clash of Champions. Last time, I think we invited Geek Fam to come. I think even, would say, what's the Air Asia Sayan also to come. Correct. And I think we organized that. We invited RRQ. That time, SEA Games tak ada MLBB.
Yes.
So that was the first year where MLBB was in the SEA Games. I use it as a SEA Games warm-up.
Okay.
So all the teams, semua come. So I organized events. So my agency organized events, and then we also organized conferences. So last time we organized a conference called Esports Insider in Singapore.
Okay.
We work with ESI from UK. Then from there we look at sports, we look at conferences. So to me, when I look at I ask my business partner, hey, what else can we do? We are not a publisher, correct? And I think in the end so I look at how sports is, right? So it's like Premier League and everything. I said, hey, okay, let's look at the team. So we invested in Team Flash. So we were initial investors first.
Okay.
So in Team Flash, we went in around 2018-19.
Okay.
We fundraised in 2019. And that's where, the team was already launched in Vietnam.
Okay.
And then I took over the CEO role after COVID in 2021.
All right.
Because the founder then and the CEO decided to step down because he wanted to do then a little bit other projects like NFT. Then was popular, right? So my investors and the board asked me to step up. So I've been working on I've been the CEO for Team Flash for the last 4 years.
4 years now.
So and then we have gone from there. I took over. We have gone into Cambodia. We set up Singapore for MLBB as well.
Correct.
Last time we were more known in a lot of other games, is including like EAFC last time, right? FIFA, so we were the champions in Asia. A lot of my old boys were there. We were FC online champions. Then from there, we decided to go to Vietnam. And I think now our base is, we are now in 4 countries.
4 countries.
We are in, I would say Vietnam is our main country.
Okay.
And then after that, Vietnam, we have, Cambodia. For MLBB. We have now, of course, Malaysia MLBB from Singapore. And lastly, we have Philippines for HOK.
Okay.
Yeah. And Vietnam, we have around 5 titles. We have 5 titles, including AOV, where we were the world champions previously. We were in PUBG Mobile, PUBG PC, Free Fire, and FC Online. So we have total 5 divisions, 7, 8, 9 divisions, but we are expanding also. We also got a FC Mobile in Vietnam as well. So, and then we should have a couple more announcements coming soon in the next few weeks for some new divisions that are looking for the Esports World Cup.
I see.
This reminds me, Todak, how many divisions that they have before, and it is not an easy job because Todak only focused in Malaysia with 8 divisions before this. 6 division, 8 squads, but you have multiple divisions.
Around 9 divisions.
Around 5 countries now. 4 countries, sorry.
5 countries.
5 countries.
Yeah.
It is not a easy job, and it's not easy to manage. So, congrats.
I think it's been enjoying. I think, it's like watching, like every week I got a football game to watch.
Okay.
Like last weekend, we have Free Fire playing, we have AOV playing, we have MLBB Malaysia playing, and MLBB Cambodia playing. So every day I have to see which teams to take a look and to talk to the various teams. But I think, to be frank, I've been very lucky that I have good, general managers across the various countries who help me and to support me. And I think we have full trust in them. We've been working, and a lot of them have been with me for easily 3 to 4 years.
All right. So now we understand why Flash berada dekat Malaysia. Dengan background yang sebegitu rupa yang diceritakan oleh CEO tu sendiri. memang patutlah ada pun.
Orang hebat ni Abang Ajak ni.
Ya, orang hebat ni. Kan?
benda
Ini bukan
biasa-biasa.
calang-calang
Ini
ni.
bukan
Sebab
calang-calang.
kita bila kalau sebelum kita panggil, kita ingat kan Flash ada kat Singapura, ada dekat ni, setakat tu je. Tetapi the background business yang ada di belakangnya, yang mungkin sekarang ni community dah aware, I think this is the reason why Flash also been chosen to be part of MPLMY. Yeah. So now let's talk about MPLMY because I have the question talking about nak bila Flash ditubuhkan apa semua dia dah jawab.
Okay.
Satu question saja semua dia jawab. Kau ada tak apa-apa sebelum saya nak pergi ke MPLMY?
Kalau 9 divisions, which means that how many teams you have roughly? 9 teams, around 9 teams or more than that?
I think we'll say 9. So I think MLBB we consider 3 teams, right?
3
We have
teams.
2 in Cambodia. We have a male and female team, and then Malaysia we have 1 male team, right? AOV, PUBG Mobile, Free Fire, and FC Online and FC Mobile, correct? And then after that we have HOK, so around 9, but spread across different games, you know. And then I think our main focus, right? I think we will look at where do we go to. I think in the end people ask me, hey Mark, why you didn't think of Indonesia? Why you didn't think? I think we look at most game titles, semua only allow you satu division.
Correct.
Betul.
Right? So PUBG Mobile, HOK, semua only allow you 1,
Yeah,
right? So in MLBB boleh 2.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why we took the opportunity when MLBB, when we look at the second division outside Singapore, initially I was thinking of Myanmar. You know, Myanmar teams very good,
Correct.
right? Very strong. And the fandom, bagus. Right? When we did our Clash of Champions that time, we invited Burmese Ghosts.
Burmese schools.
The traction, very good.
Okay.
So initially we wanted to go to Myanmar. But of course, we know due to the the political situation, it was quite tough to go in 2021. So we just talked to the Cambodia community market, and then in the end, the GM of Burn Gaming came to us.
Burn.
Burn X Flash, correct. So last time the Burn X Flash. So Burn Gaming came to me and said, okay, let's work together. So that's why we work as a partnership team, like together before we took over. Because in the end, when I look at it, right, semua, I think just to share also, when MPL Indonesia, right, they had the first franchise league, right?
Correct.
That was in 2018-19.
18-19.
Yes, correct. It was a 1 million buy-in. Everybody knows. So we were there. I think up to the final 8 teams, we were shortlisted to the final 10. Yeah, just to share a bit of context with MLBB. But of course, back then we were thinking, hey, 1 million is quite a fair bit of money. Correct. But in the end, maybe we would say we make the decision not to put in, you know, as a board and everything. But right now, kudos to MPL. You know, it's big.
Correct.
So of course, you know, you can see the last few years in terms of the slots being sold and stuff like that, right? So I think in the end, when we look at the countries that we go in, we want to be the number 1 in the country. Number 1 in terms of fandom. So I think when we were in Vietnam, so Vietnam, I can say maybe to interpret a little bit in terms of fandom, we are a little bit like your RRQ of Indonesia. Just to share, you know, the fandom, we have the biggest fan base. The
Of Flash.
Flash, we have like 4 or 5. You go to any of our games in Vietnam, it's full house, right? So when I look at Cambodia, because it was a relatively new market, boleh,
Okay.
we went in. And after that, then Singapore, you know, we also took a while to grow, right? And I'm sure I know what Abang Lord is going to ask me the next question. So I shall not share too much, right? I think, but in the end, when we look at different territories we want to go in, we want to be at least the best team, right? So then after that, from there we went to Cambodia.
Okay.
Sorry, Cambodia finished, we went to Philippines. Because HOK, you know, a bit sensitive lah.
Okay.
MLBB, right? I think
Correct.
everybody knows. So I think we are good partners with all the publishers. So in the end, we look at it, because I know that Philippines, I'm not going to open a MLBB market.
Okay.
So in the end, I set up the HOK team. there.
All right.
It took us. Last year, I'll be very frank, I share. Last year was the first year of the partnership league in terms of HOK. Last year, the second half of the season, we finished 0-14. 0-14 last season.
No win.
No win. We were last. So we went back, we talked to the team. It was a partnership program, and I think Tencent gave us. We see the professionalism. This year, we finished top 2. So we are going to EWC this year. So I think later we'll share a bit more also, like in terms of how we look at teams, how we, even PUBG Mobile, right? We were the partnership team also for a year and 16, around 12 months, 18 months. We did not do well, struggle. First 12 months struggle in Indonesia, in Vietnam. And last season, but we had a plan. So plan after that, we find the young boys, the young team. We grow the team. So last year, we were the first, not in PMSL, we qualify from our own league, PMSC. We are the first rookie team that qualify from our own local league, go to PMSL. PMSL qualify for PMGC. And then from PMGC, qualify for the grand finals. So we also the rookie team. So it took us 12 to 18 months to really grow the team.
Okay. So ini menunjukkan keberadaan Flash di MPL MY di tangga ke-8 is nothing for them. They went through this kind of situation dekat multiple division yang lain.
Yeah.
So itu adalah orang kata apa, pengalaman dan juga pengajaran yang mereka dah dapat sebelum ni. Alright. So let's talk about MLBB now.
Of course.
Okay. Why choose MPL MY?
I think it's very simple, right? I think when the opportunity was given to us, right? And I think when we spoke with MPL as a whole Munton, right? I think we have been champions in Singapore for 4 already. And also to share, even in Singapore, we in and out. We also get second last, we got knocked out and we got to go to qualifiers also in that 12-18 month period. And then after that, then we win. So I think when I spoke to Munton, I think he said, Mark, that when there was an opportunity like this, I said, I'd like to apply. Why? It's because the fandom, right? Nothing to hide. Indonesia, Philippines, the next best is Malaysia, right? And I think Malaysia has a very good market, very good players, right? I think in the end is really, I think like we have seen what SRG has done, and I think there's a lot more talent in Malaysia. So I think it combines to the fact, and I think in the end, when we decided to apply, we told MP Munton and said, this is our plan. We, of course, are here. We want to work together with our Malaysian community, to be frank. And that's why now, we have, at least 3 to 4 Malaysian players, right? I think so. Now we have Rival, we have Razin, we have Skyzak, and now, of course, we have Zon, right? But in the end, it does not stop here, right? So this is our first season, right? We only had a very short time. Right, we were announced, right? And I still remember I was talking to many different partners, including Abang Lord, during the Lunar New Year period, trying to find the players, right? Correct? But in the end, we are also known as a new partner to come in, right? So, of course, there are more established teams that are here in the community, like, Team Ray, also SRG, of course, AC also with, my good friend Simon. They have the local expertise, right? So, of course, in the end, when we look for players, it was not the easiest, to convince the players. But I think long term, when we believe we are here for the long term, when slowly, even when we go to new countries, when a lot of players share, right? I think in the end, it's about very basic of being professional. I think in whatever we have done, I think in terms of all our players, all divisions, we honor what we can provide. I think in the end, in terms of salaries, in terms of payments being made, because we know that esports, there's always, stories. Correct. But we try to be professional. And I think all along the last 2-3 years, or 4-5 years since I've been there, there's always been, so salaries have to be paid on time, because all the players also have families, also have their own obligations, right? When I was talking to Zon as well, he asked me, so he mentioned that he may not want to play because he got family, right? Correct. But we managed to convince him, because to me, family is important. So how do we balance it? And then how do we show we are professional? So I think there are some basic things that we have to honor. So I think we hope with our professionalism and to show for next season, because we are also looking at MAL, we are looking how to grow the grassroots. There's a lot of talent. I think Singapore, why from Singapore to Malaysia, right? I think you want to ask me, right? I think in the end, I think Singapore, would say the only pro league is only MLBB. So there's none, right? I think in Malaysia, you still got PUBG Mobile, you still got HOK. So in terms of MLBB, I know there is a lot more different talent in the industry, right? For Singapore, we have done, I think, a lot for the community. It's not easy to be a full-time team. Most of our teams last time was considered the best we can do semi-full-time. Semi-full-time is that some teams over there in Singapore, because of work commitment, studies commitment, they only scrim at 8 p.m.
Just one scrim.
One scrim a day. So in the end, we look at 2 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8 p.m. in Malaysia. the training you get is different. So I think we have maxed out what we can do in Singapore. We went to MSC, we got top 4. But also we know there is a certain limit that we would say achieve. So when the opportunity to come here, we discuss with Munton, and then after that, I think many viewers also ask me, right? I think in the end is, why got Singapore players?
Yeah.
Correct. I think I've read comments, I've read everything. And I think in the end is, like to Abang Lord, last time, I grew up in the Malaysia Cup days.
Okay.
The good old days of Malaysia Cup.
Semi-pro league.
Semi-pro league, right? He's still young.
He's still young. He doesn't know any player, I believe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, right? So then, the popularity of Malaysia Cup, right? We were like brothers.
Correct.
You know what I
Stadium
mean?
Kallang.
Stadium
The Kallang Roars.
Kallang Roar.
Yeah.
When I come to watch Malaysia Cup final in Bukit Jalil, that time also, to be frank, is a lot of our Malaysian, like Singapore footballers, like Fandi Ahmad,
Sundra
Murti were all welcome, right? When they come here, they were all welcome. We played good, nice football together with the creativity of Malaysia, right? Last time, those were the days, Zainal Abidin Hassan, Dola Saleh, I still can remember the names, like Radit Madin,
Kedah.
right? All these players, right? So there was good, and I think with that is, if we can bring a bit of fandom together as well. So with the one Singapore player, correct, but in the end, our commitment is still Malaysian players. So one, of course, is to bring, to let them experience how a full-time player will play. Because most of the boys in Singapore don't get a chance.
Correct.
Right? And for them, not easy for them to really say, hey, I give up my studies. Right? Sorry, but Singapore parents very practical lah. Right? Esports, cannot lah.
Very strict.
Very strict lah. Studies lah. Tak boleh lah. You know what I mean? But if you ask the previous generation of my boys, so right now, Adamir, right, he's playing our EXP, our GM, but now he play. Hey, Mark, if I have the chance last time to come and play, I will take it with both hands. Because last time was MPL, MYSG.
Correct.
Yeah, true. For 4 seasons.
Still have
MYSG.
MYSG, we still have here.
Yeah, correct. And that time the fans were shook. Right, I went to watch in, I think, some of the shopping malls. Right, the fandom was great and everything was strong. But I think in the end, I'm not coming here to say that, hey, we are Singapore team. I think in the end, is to get one of the Singapore boys to come here, experience, But in the end, our majority is still a lot of the Malaysian players. I hope, to be frank, one day, right, if we can, with the, would say the next few steps is the next years is to get more, to form more Malaysian players to play, because I think there are talent. Talent with professionalism, with a bit of strict, would say structure. I think I'm willing to say there are going to be more Malaysian players to support, especially with Asian Games coming up.
Correct.
Right, you've got nations,
ENC,
everything. So in the end, we work closely with MESF to groom the next young players lah.
Okay. Kita dah 22 minit. Ini adalah podcast Langgar yang paling senang. Kau tanya satu soalan, you wait for 10 minutes.
The elaboration already there.
You don't have much to ask. Kan? Very simple. You just ask one question and then you just listen. Wah, sedap doh dia punya borak ni. You can listen. Kan? So, you have anything to ask?
Yeah, which means that previously, Hades, Diablo, Curtizi, during at MPLSG, are they practicing one scrim a day or
I think
3 scrims a day?
Initially when our first batch of players come was also 8. Then we slowly become semi-pro.
Okay.
So after that example, so when Hades and example Kurt came, right?
Yeah.
Then we initially when you can ask Hades, the first season he came, he only trained 8 or maybe 5-8 only. So then after that,
they can go to international. They went to international and.
So I think
Really good,
then what resources we have. So Kurt came in second season, right? Then we went 5-8. Then of course, so then back then was Dablo was also full time, right? Dablo really came in. Dablo was full time. But when we play 5 and 8, but I think we look at our players. So last time we have Lozi,
Lozi, the Roma,
right? But Lozi is a full time working in the army, so he only can come maximum 5 to 8. Then after we got JPL.
JPL.
So we got JPL. JPL can come 2-5-8. But then our key player, our goal laner is Venix. Right? Venix is our star young player. He was studying. So he rushed down after school every day. He's in a polytechnic. He rushed down every day. He can play 5 to 8. And I must find a substitute to play at 2 p.m. So we still try, but of course it's different with the same players, right?
I see.
So as you know, as coach know, right? I think 2-5-8. But the good thing, but the one thing that like when we speak with Kurt, we speak with Hades, every team in Philippines stay together.
Correct.
In a game house, right? So after finish, you see a lot of them like to go gym together, bonding together, but we don't have that. To be frank, semua finish balik, go back home to their
just
own
part-time.
Like they really play.
They don't have a specific gaming house.
Yes, so we train, we finish at 10:30, then go because next day pergi sekolah.
Yeah.
But he put in a lot of his time to sacrifice to play, and then after that, but with the best resources, right? So we cannot like really bond. So only when we go or like we go for internationals and everything, then we say, hey, they stay together, they bond together. So I would say we do what we can with the resources.
Yeah.
And I think in there we know that there. But what's the next step?
What's the next step?
Right. So I've game houses in Vietnam, and those boys stay together. 2-5-8 every day train, every day play. The bonding is different. I can see it myself. Yeah. So I think that's
Bonding
why.
is really important.
Yeah. So bonding and and that's what we are trying to create that as well. But
Aku tertarik dengan hanya training 8 kan, 5
training 8.
kadang-kadang, 2 jarang berlaku kan, but they still can forfeit champion.
Yes.
Qualified to international.
Most of the international tournaments.
Most of the international. Okay, orang akan cakap alah senang lah Singapura tak ada tim yang lain yang kuat. Bro, diorang pergi ke international bukan jadi pelengkap jadual tau.
Membantai.
Diorang membantai.
Even Malaysian teams struggling against them.
I think we always have a target, right? I think we look at M1, M2, M3. Those were the days where RSG,
EVOS,
correct? They do well because by that time, MPL's level is also different.
Correct.
Then I think then and now is different.
Totally
right now
different.
everything is really professional. You look at how the game houses here in Indonesia, in Philippines, the resources is different. Back then 6 years ago is also different. So then let's say 6 years ago you play semi-pro part-time boleh lah, can
Boleh
pass.
lah.
You know what I mean? But now everything is way of a different level. Look at the Malaysian league now, right? Let's see everybody. To be frank, the level compared to last season is different.
Correct.
Agree.
Right, I think the level is of a good level. Of course, we compare with Indonesia, Philippines. Everywhere is different, but the level is different. Right, I think from 2nd place to 8th place, I can say that of course SRG is way ahead because of chemistry, and they've been together as a team. To be frank, for the last 2 years,
experience.
like last week, right? You see they play against IG. Right, almost that game, almost lose, but one typical innocent combination with Krem, right? SOD, come in. Right,
You watch every
You
single game.
watch,
You watch every single game.
Yeah, to be frank, I watch all the leagues. I watch not only Malaysia League, I watch even Indonesia League, Philippines League, and even our Cambodia League. Even if I don't watch live, I go back at night, I will go and will watch the key games, watch the key highlights and everything, right? So I do watch. So in the end, but it's all about chemistry.
Agree.
Right? So in the end, they just know what they want to do. This is based on hours of repetition, muscle memory going in. It's like footballers, right? If you see, like Lionel Messi coming in 1 hour before training to shoot 100 free kicks to the goal.
Professional athletes.
Kobe Bryant, right?
Yeah.
He go and shoot 100 free throws before training starts. Right, so this is all about, we say is muscle memory, and they know what they're going to do, right? They've been there for 2 years, so kudos, right? So I think we look at the 2nd to the 8th place, right? I think anything can happen.
Still open.
Still open,
Still
right?
open.
There's like no clear cut who's the 2nd strongest team in MPL.
Yeah, I think in the end is all of us are trying to make small improvements, make small changes, right? I think we can see we should have an announcement tomorrow. Or today, I don't know. I think today is Tuesday. So
Tuesday, and this one will be released on Friday.
Yeah, we'll play by Friday.
Yeah, I think tomorrow, Wednesday. By the time this one we release, I think the announcement should be out already.
Right.
All right.
So I think AC, everybody is making, right? I think Simon has mentioned last week.
Already announced. Just now we saw
Fabian
in.
Correct. I think because sometimes I'm a bit careful on social media.
Correct.
Whether is it the image come out is from because different groups.
Correct.
Sometimes whether of course now with AI. Right? So I'm just a bit more careful. Don't want to spill.
Too many rumors
from
Abang Lord also.
No, lah. But I think because Simon mentioned himself last week, right? He mentioned in his own, say, hey, one change this week, one change next week. So that's officially, right? So I think everybody is trying to make some minor adjustments, trying to see what fits. So we have 7 more games. Correct. So like I said, 2nd to 8th place, would say, I think RRQ started pretty well. Correct. But then after that, a bit of a blip. Now they are at 4-3, if I'm not wrong. 4-3, right? So I didn't remember correctly. So to be frank, I think the next second half of the season will be very exciting.
Okay.
Will be more exciting clashes, and then after that, let's look forward. I think let's see, who in the end is able to gel faster.
Okay, let's talk about the second leg. We put it aside. We'll come out with the next topic. Okay, when you got the slots, when you Monsoon announced ataupun MPL MY announced that Flash already got a slot, how difficult you find to set up this team, this roster?
Not easy, right? I think in the end, because we need to find a core Malaysian players, right? I think in the end is we have to find. So we know, like we have the one Singapore player, right?
Okay.
So that one we know who we want to get, right? Then we want to find the Malaysian players. So for us, relatively new coming in, right, knowing the market, trying to get the players, would say not easy. But like I think I mentioned earlier in the podcast, is that I believe this is a time thing. Once we come in, we show the professional etiquettes that what we are trying to do. So it will take time to get the players to come in. So we went in with a bit of idea in mind, a bit of more experience. Correct. So it was like, I would say, like, kudos to all our local players that joined us, right? I think they were quite open to join us. They have seen what we have done in the game house, trying to be professional. But I think along the way in next season, I think there's a lot of talent in MAL. But how do we polish these rough diamonds? I think in the end is to find the right attitude of players. I think to me, attitude is important.
The
Exactly.
work ethics.
Yes, correct. How are they able to withstand pressure? How are they willing? So to me, it's a learning process, right? I'm also learning of going to the game house, talking to the boys, see their eyes, see, in terms of how they feel.
Spirit.
Read, correct. So of course, in the end, nothing to hide, right? I can be very upfront, right? We lost over the weekend. We went to the game house yesterday. Everybody's upset. If you tell me you're not upset, cannot be lah.
Cannot be lah.
Right, in the end, and I think to be frank, is a lot of our social media say, oh, lose. I think in the end, it's like the world of sports. We always say, okay lah, keyboard warriors, easy. But when the players go there, the way they train, the disappointment,
It's not that easy.
Not easy, right? A lot of the players, the parents are there, the partners are there. They want to perform well as well. Who don't want to perform well?
Correct.
Everybody
wants to win.
Yeah, everybody wants to win, right? Correct. But in the end, there have to be losers, right? So there'll be people who win and people to lose. So how do we overcome it?
Okay.
How do we boost the confidence, right? I think in terms of players, everything is also quite interesting. Even Innocent was part of us last time. He went for one Snapdragon competition with us in Jakarta. Innocent.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
So initially, even Innocent was in our radar. Before, of course, he joined
SRG, yeah.
He joined, that's the reason, because he was from TNC.
Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
TNC,
So we wanted him to play. We saw his potential. We like him. We saw him. We always look at, to be frank, you look at the Philippines League, right? TLPH, all these players will stay there. So we have to look at the others like Smart, TNC, what are the players that are there. We saw Innocent's potential. We wanted him. He came to play. We saw him. But in Singapore, it's very different from how we choose players. Singapore is because of the part-time and everything.
Situation.
It's not like, I think in I would say last time in Malaysia or what, is you find the best import.
Correct.
Then you find the Malaysian players to gel the team.
Okay.
But in Singapore, is that because I tak ada player, I must find my local player first, the best, because the talent pool is not big. Then I find my foreign players.
Okay.
So local players are more important than the
Because it's not enough.
Not enough talent.
No. The talent pool is
is
not as big.
Yeah,
Not that big. So I find the local player first. So I really groomed Vanix for almost 1-2 years, and right now he's the best goal laner.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, correct. So to me, it's just that then too bad lah. I cannot have another Innocent, right? If not, I will gladly take Innocent already. Right, so the place also when I come to Malaysia is also the same thing, but I need to find the best young Malaysian players. So it's a bit of like really testing, feeling, and everything. So now I think the boys are good, right? I think I love Reese, right? Of course we have to let go him, but he was perfect. He was very good in his mannerism. Attitude is good, but we decided to let him go back to MAL to get the experience. So for me, players, I'm very upfront, right? Some of my players is that I don't want to spoil their future. Of course, I can say I pay you transfer fee and everything, but if they have a better opportunity, I'm happy to see where they go.
Okay.
So then I think we got Razin. I think we have I think now we got Rival, we got Zon,
Zon,
and then we got Skyzek.
Skyzek.
Right. So I think in the end is to let to know that, we like to welcome more Malaysian players as well. We look to find new young players to come and join us, to groom them, to grow them.
Okay.
And for Flash, it's not a 6 months or 1 year journey. We are here.
I have a question.
Yes.
Since you're talking about the roster, right?
Right.
Is it true the initial idea is to put Hades as a roamer?
Yes. Initially, to be frank, is we wanted to put Hades as a roamer. Because in the end, as I think we would say in terms of how we look at the system and everything. So then we get Razin, right? We were trying to find good players to come in and stuff like that.
So Razin actually
is to play
as a jungler.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, when we try out in scrims, we had to try out different formulas and different combinations, right? And then when we thought, we were looking at other players to come in. So we said, maybe Hades is better to go back because he used to play as a jungler as well. Correct. So we make changes along the way. We live with our decisions, right? So in the end, and every time if we win, of course, it's right decision.
Yeah,
true.
Correct.
If you lose, then everybody will surely whack you. And I think, to be frank, kudos to Razin, right, to adapt at that short period of time. And when I see him, he's positive. So I have to give my shout out to him for
credit to him.
Right? I think in the end, from suddenly 3 days to play to Rome. Correct. In the end, but we still won one series, right, against AC. Correct. I think in the end, he played. Of course, people say, "Hey, hero pool small and everything," but guys, right? You are in the pro level scene, right? You are asking suddenly a striker to play as a defensive midfielder, right? And a 3 days position to adapt. And I say credit to him, right? And he also very supportive of the decision. So I think with that is all of us is trying to find the best formula in the screams. And I think when the opportunity for Zon to come, right? I think to share is, I always, in my opinion, in MLBB, some people may say, hey, everybody have their own interpretation of which is the key position.
Okay.
Whether is it jungle, is it goal? For me, my personal opinion is always a tank is always an important position.
Okay.
Why? Because maybe in the world of football, I think we look at defensive midfielder. Right? Who is a defensive from Club Makelele? Right, Didier Deschamps, right, Patrick Vieira, all of them are your defense. So in the end, is the tank to me is important to open the map for everybody to see. So for me, when I look at it, it's not the glory heroes, but the one who do the dirty work, right? Which is then when we saw the opportunity for Son is available, of course, he shared. Like I said, I think to a lot of viewers out there, they think it's easy to play the game. But to all these boys playing so many years, the mental toil for them is really very high.
Agreed.
Correct. So maybe it has not been said a lot, I think, but the mental, I think, anguish, the mental stuff they have to go in to play every season. So he said, Mark, I wanted to rest initially, right? But we managed to talk to him, and then I haven't had the chance to really sit down face to face. I already came here, but I think for me, if even he sees this, I think to me it's a long-term plan.
All right.
For him to come, because even when you look at it, when JPL also played for us for 2 years, right? And JPL, we call him the goat of tanks in Singapore.
That's right.
Correct. So for me, I think for that position is different from your jungler, right? Jungler, you want your your high mechanics,
correct,
and everything. But for Rome, I think in the end is
you just need the otak,
the mind, how to play, set the gameplay. So I think for me, Zon, if I can, of course, in there, there's a lot of discussions going on how forward. I hope he will be, would say, at least the core of our team, at least for the next 12 months.
as a father figure as well. As a
leader.
Leader,
That
correct.
leadership.
And then I like him. I like his positive attitude. Although we are losing, but I think he has been very professional, going out, on stage, going out to, shake with our fans, projected a very professional image. Although he had to take it in, right? He don't want to lose. Nobody want to lose.
Correct.
Correct. But in the end, he's there telling the boys, let's go out, let's do our commitment to the fans. So that's professionalism, right? So I think with that is hopefully, of course, people say, hey, king of recalls and everything, correct? But as long as in game, I'm okay. But off game, I think he's a super gentleman.
So talking about credit, he gave credits to Zon, Razin, and so on. I think we have to. I personally have to give credit to Mark, because ini antara salah seorang CEOs before start of the season that came all the way from Singapore to meet me. Saya berjaya. in Cyberjaya kan, antara CEO yang datang. Sebelum tu kita pernah juga jumpa, saya sendiri personally jumpa Pak Api dan juga Ko Edwin kan, RRQ
Indonesia.
RRQ BTR.
I just had a drink with Edwin last week.
Okay.
At Jakarta. We just had correct.
So kudos to Mark, because dia datang ni nak berkawan. But dia dah masuk MPLMY. He wanted to know the people so, and then juga berbincang beberapa perkara dan sebagainya. Selepas ni juga kita ada meeting dengan our Todak culture kan. So hopefully everything goes well. Now let's talk about, we already like 40 minutes. Wow. Kita tak cakap banyak doh.
Diam je.
Diam. Satu soalan. It just sedap nak dengar dia punya ulasan tu.
I think kalau kita lepak kat mamak dengan dia, dengan
mau satu hari.
Maybe
happy.
3 to 4 hours 3 to 4 hours tak lari lah.
Tak lari. Ini kalau letak kopi kan, mama kopi satu, kopi satu. Alright, let's talk about the current situation of Flash. Kan? You bagi tahu there are changes coming on ataupun announcement coming on. Okay. So what is your plan ataupun your target for the second leg?
I think second leg is simple, right? I think we discussed just now, 2nd to 8 is open, right? I think the short-term goals for my boys is to actually say, let's take a step at a time. Let's get one win, right? Short-term goals is get one win. It's about confidence, right? After that, I think to be frank, at least by end of the season is let's go to the playoff, right? After playoff, we have maybe a week break,
correct.
And before we go, and I think we have been through enough situation that 1 week is very important, right? How do we play as a team together, we train more, and it's a momentum game, right? Just to share a bit of MPL, HOK, PH, like I think, of course, we know you're an MPL show, but we finished 6th in the regular season, just barely managed to qualify. But we used our momentum, and then we finished top 2 in for HOK. So I think in the end is to the boys, as I tell them, is let's focus on short-term goals week by week, and then we go to, at least we qualify for the playoff.
Take one by one.
Just get that one win first, bro.
No, I think it is, right? I think it's like confidence, right? I think in the end, just one win to build the confidence. And
the moral boost.
And most of the boys are experienced boys.
Correct.
So, of course, in the end, they put too much pressure on themselves. Because social media, right? Everybody give comment, you do this, you do that, you miss retry, you miss the stun, and everything. But all our boys are experienced boys. So, in the end now, is of course, confidence is tough, right? It's like I think to be frank, just to use a little bit of analogy, like Spurs is going through a tough time, right? In Premier League, right? It's just one win, 2 wins, then you get the confidence booster to go. So I told them from them, it's really short term, it's 1 win, 2 wins, let's get it done, correct, in the end. Then from there, when confidence gets better, then we look at the playoff. We work on the momentum.
Okay. Talking about that confidence wins and those comments in social media, what do you want to say? Do you know that you have the Flash fans here?
I'm surprised. Thanks a lot. I think to be frank, no, I think Abang Lord really, when I went to the games, I was like, the first weekend I came, I said, takut lah, tak ada fans there di luar. I think. Then suddenly I hear, luar ada fans.
Ada fans.
And I think to be frank, it's thanks to them, I think, to support them. And I think I was there this weekend. I think there was also a father, and he brought his son. He told me, I've not missed every week watching Flash. Only I think week 3 because got Raya open house. They had to go. I say, so I'm happy we have fans. I think in the end, I really a shout out. I think to be frank, maybe I think a lot of our friends, when I saw maybe a bit also a lot of perempuan.
Then I have to go to venue.
So a lot of our fans, and I think to be frank, even week 1 we have one Singapore fan that took the bus to come here.
All the way from Singapore.
To watch our game. Wow. One of the boys. I think in the end is really much appreciated. Really, thanks a lot. I think in the end when I told the boys that when you go on stage, right, just want you to be the best role model. Right? I think in the end is when, in the end I think I shared with a lot. I think this year, kudos when I saw M7, right? I like how Alter Ego, really very professional, right? As an EXP, he win, he lose, he give the thumbs up.
Correct.
So respect, right? I think in the end I want to be the role model for all the fans out there, because if you look at MPL venue, if you go every week, I think to be frank, there's at least 20-30 kids who are like below 10, 11, 12 years old. The parents bring them. It's no more pergi tengok bola. It's no more pergi tengok MSL. It's now pergi tengok MPL. So in the end is that when you are there, right, I think we just have to be the best role model, right? We have our fans out there, correct? In the end, and I think to be frank, how we discuss about taunting or anything. I just want to put out here. I just want my boys to be the best role models, right? In the end, it's because you have fans out there, Duduk. They go, if I can taunt, do I mean that my fans can also taunt with their friends when they main bola?
I like this
So
mentality.
to me, it's just that because it's called people see, people do, right? Because my role model was a football player, was Marco van Basten, the most ultimate professional. Right? He got attacked by tackles by behind. The tackles by behind, the yellow card, was actually implemented partially because of him. Yeah, last time the Italian defenders just go only. They don't care your ankle, they don't care your Achilles, they just whack only. Correct. So in the end is that when we out there to be professional, I think in the team is that we just want our boys to be really the best role models for our fans. So there are certain rules that I told my boys, even my managers and everybody in the game house. There are certain things that we need to set. So I hope to use that as the best example to get more fans to our bandwagon. But we also know it's like sports, right? Menang are the fans, more fans. But thanks for all the current fans that still support us. But I know it's a very results-oriented game, right?
Yes.
So 100%, I think 100% like sports. Suddenly, like my generation was Liverpool generation.
Yeah, correct.
Like yours is the Man U generation because yours was the Sir Alex time.
Sir Alex Ferguson, yeah.
Yes, correct. So in the end, we need to do our best to strive to get the best results, to win. And then from there, organically, we then see how we can grow the fans. But different ideas, we have the marketing team here. Just to share, we're not here for one season. We are looking to have an office here, to build a creative team here. In the end, it's really to engage the Malay community because Malaysia is big. It's not like Singapore, right? Singapore ni pergi mana? Bedok, pergi Jurong.
Bedok, Jurong habis. Changi.
Right? But here you have so many states. Right? We have fans that could be from Terengganu, could be from Kedah, could be down from Perlis, could be down south in Johor. So this is a big place. So I just really, if there's any partners who are keen, in terms of not only partners, I really do CSR. I want to give back, to the community to see what we can do. There are a lot of people who want to give inspirations. I think we look at TikTok now, right? I think there's also I see a lot of small videos like going around to give before the raya. Everybody give a bit of donation, right? To buy baju kurung to the hawkers. I want to do something because I see young kids over there, young boys over there, to give them an aspiration. I think in Malaysia, I think esports is a viable career. It's a viable career for the family. I think in the end, like Zon now is a father of two, right? He got his own merchandise range and everything. So I want to sit down with him in terms of commercializing long term. It's like sports, right? I think, like some of the ex-Man U players are all ambassadors.
True.
Right? From, like Bosco's, Bud is a manager there. So there are many, many roles inside esports, guys. It's not, I want to tell parents, like a lot of my players now are my general managers also. So one of them, Adamir used to be a player. But now he's my GM. Right? So in the end, just to share, I think I did a sports degree media course. 20 years ago. 25 years ago. 2002. Okay. Back then, people say, hey, sports cannot earn money lah. Tak boleh dapat duit man. Very hard to earn money. Very hard to, as a career. Correct? I came back, I was lucky. I think sports has grown in the last 20-25 years. Right now, sports football is a career. Sports management is a career. Right? So I think in the end, is I tell everybody is, even like Abang Lord and all your, like you'll say, even the editors here, passion.
True.
Right? Passion, you are here to work at what you like to do. And I think I rather kids enjoy what they do. There's a career there is for us to grow the industry, but there is an industry here that can be grown. Correct? So in the end, give the opportunities. They can become editor, they can become, graphics designer. There's many, many ways in the industry to be built like sports was 10, 20 years ago. So, yeah.
Good.
Strong message there.
Long message. Yeah, it's really good to having you.
It's really inspiring.
Having you here on behalf of my president, Encik Rain Todak, and all other CEOs. We are very thankful and great to have here. And,
thanks.
Your last words to the fans, maybe, or the community in MPL Malaysia?
I think not many messages. I think to be frank, it's really, I think I've seen the strong support for MPL MY this year. I think really I've seen viewership grown a lot. I think that I'm now being also a partnership program. And really production is good, right? I think we saw Mereka coming here last week and say best production across the region, right? So I think for the strong support, and I think in the end is to give a little bit would say more love to the players lah. I think really in the end is, some of the forums for MPL MY discussions, it's easy to say, hey, we should do this for these players, we should do that for that players. It's not easy for the players.
The keyboard always will not agree with this.
Yeah,
the keyboard
you can say it, right?
Say,
like I said, it's like football, right? Yeah. Always the couch potato, sit down, easy to say. It's very easy, correct? But I think, to be frank, there's also a lot of good fans out there, right? I think in the end, it's really to support all these players. I think in the end, they're all young boys, guys. They are all like 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, trying their best for their teams. So I think in the end, is to show them a bit more love, a bit more concern, really encourage them a bit better. I think that's one of my main hope, because I think why we are all in the esports industry is a lot of people say about mental health.
Correct.
Right. Mental health is a key issue, right? I think in the end, you look at a lot of esports, small stories of people about depression. I think it's a very real problem. Right. I think it's easy to say, not easy to overcome, but sometimes we do not know how these players are overcoming it. Yeah. Are they strong mentally to be there? So I think rather than just whacking them or say, well, India will put pressure, but I think in the end is let's look to encourage. Let's look to, I think, it's like a job, right? If people makes mistakes in jobs, people will learn, people will grow from it. So I think in the end is do continue not only supporting Team Flash, but also the boys from other teams as well. I think really show and give them the best support you can as your own respective team.
All right, so that's the end of our conversation, our podcast Langgar episode 45. Thank you, Mr. Mark, the CEO of Team Flash, and the marketing team here. Also, thank you for coming to our podcast studio.
Thanks.
And doakan Team Flash berjaya, dan hope that Team Flash also can surpass these difficulties, the challenge now, and qualify to the playoff.
Thanks.
So thank you very much again. Any last word?
Nothing.
Nothing.
All good.
All good. So that's it, guys. Bye-bye, and see you again in next episode.
Thank you.
Team Flash lah nggak kenal. Team Flash dia punya own slogan. What is the slogan?
What's the better
Making gamers heroes.
Making gamers heroes. Okay. All right.